Hello, Dev Nation. Welcome back to the Dev Nation Sports Network, your one stop place for all things related to Dev Nation. Today we're bringing you DNSN Radio episode number 7. This will be our first official coverage of Madden 17. And so today we're going to take a look at the team draft. We're going to break down the best 5 values in the team draft and the worst 5 values in the team draft. So before we jump into that, I do have a quick announcement to make, and that announcement is that top 10 videos are going to be back and going to be posted on a weekly basis, assuming I get participation. So I'm going to be taking over the top 10 plays. So if you have a play you'd like to submit, send it to me. You can send me more than one. If you don't know how to record video and send plays for the top 10, ask me on Facebook. I'll be happy to tell you how to do that. Don't send me cell phone videos. I won't put cell phone videos in. They look like crap. But there's an easy way to record from the Xbox and then to send me a link to those clips so I can work on that. So try and send me a clip or 2 or 3 or whatever from each game that you play so we can have some top 10 videos rolling out as soon as the season starts. Alright, so without any further ado, let's dive into the best 5 values in the team draft. We'll go with the best 5 first. And so starting off at number 5, the number 5 best value in the team draft is the Arizona Cardinals at pick number 12. The Cardinals at pick number 12, in my opinion, is a steal. They have a completely loaded roster. The Honey Badger is a freak of nature at free safety. You got Patrick Peterson at corner. I would honestly put the Honey Badger at my other corner. I'd be set at corner for the duration of Madden. But you got 2 great secondary players. A duo of 26-year-old wide receivers in Josh Brown and Michael Floyd, and they're both rated 85 an 85 and an 86 overall with 94 and 90 speed. So a duo of great secondary players, duo of great wide receivers. They've got a good tight end in Jermaine Gresham, and a very good and fast halfback in David Johnson. And so that team's ready to roll from day one. Now you are going to have to answer the question of quarterback because Carson Palmer is not going to make it through 6 more seasons. But day one, they're ready to roll with the veteran QB and all these young pieces to fit around. And so getting the Cardinals at pick 12 goes down as my number 5 best value. My number 4 best value goes to the New England Patriots, drafted at number 20. The New England Patriots have the most players rated 80 plus overall with 20. And to be honest, it's not even close. The next closest is several teams tied at 16. So they have almost 33% more players rated over 80 overall than any other team in the league, and they fell all the way to number 20. They have the cover athlete for this season, Gronkowski. We don't even need to talk about him. He's a complete freak. He's going to dominate games single-handedly. They've got a great quarterback. They've got pieces everywhere. Now, if you go look at their roster, you dig into them, one thing that's always been the case for the Patriots is they are a great NFL team, but they've never been a great Madden team. They don't ever have the speed or the youth or the strength or all those things. The Patriots just have a way of making good players play great in real life. And so that doesn't translate to Madden. So they've never been a great Madden team, but they are a good Madden team. And they have no glaring weaknesses on their entire roster. And so for them to fall to number 20 and be taken there is a steal. My number 3 top value is no longer in St. Louis, the Los Angeles Rams at number 24. The Rams have everything that you want in an offense. They have a rookie quarterback to develop. They have a second-year running back in Todd Gurley that's going to be a beast this year. They've got Tavon Austin, a young, speedy wide receiver. You look at the defense, they're anchored by Aaron Donald and Quinn on the D-line. They've got some linebackers. They've got some secondary guys. The biggest knock on the Rams and why I think they fell that far is because they're missing a first, third, and seventh round pick in the first draft. But Tom was able to replace that first and the third with trades in the team draft. And spoiler, that's going to come up again later in our worst values list. And so the Rams, I think, are a great pick at number 24. Really wish they'd fallen to number 26 to me. My number 2 best value in the draft goes to the Indianapolis Colts at pick 29. All the way down at number 29, you get the Colts. They've got one of the better quarterbacks in the game in Andrew Luck. They have a wide receiver duo of T.Y. Hilton, who's going to be a freak, and then Philip Dorsett, who is lower rated, but is a 96 speed, and he's got very good catch and route running stats too. Now, the defense is the biggest knock on the Colts. They don't have a very good defense at all. But they do have Vontae Davis, who's the 28-year-old stud cornerback. They're just going to need to put some pieces around him and quickly. But the Colts have the potential to outscore a lot of teams through the air with that duo of receivers. Then my number one value, the best value in the NFL or the Madden team draft, goes to the Denver Broncos at number 15. The Denver Broncos have everything that you could want for a team. They've got a good wide receiver. They've got a stud defense. They've got a tight end. They've got a good O-line. And in real life, their quarterback situation is kind of iffy, but in the game, they're perfect. They just drafted Paxton Lynch, a great strong arm rookie that you're going to be able to develop. So the Broncos at 15, I think, is a great pick. That's a team I'm surprised didn't go in the top 5. So there you have it. The Cardinals, Patriots, Rams, Colts, and Broncos are my top 5 best values. Now let's look at the top 5 worst values in the team draft. And so my number 5 worst value in the team draft goes to the Houston Texans at pick 14. Now the Texans, they have some good pieces. They've got the best defensive lineman in the game with J.J. Watt. And his strength, his block shed, he's going to be mauling people this year. They've got a breakout wide receiver in DeAndre Hopkins. They just got Lamar Miller from the Dolphins, and he's going to be a very good Madden back. And so they have some pieces, but the problem is that the Texans were taken while Denver was still on the board, New England was on the board, LA was on the board, Atlanta, Cincinnati. All of these really good teams fell below the Texans, who in my mind are an average team with a few really good pieces. And so I'm going to put the Texans as my number 5 worst value. My number 4 worst value goes to the Green Bay Packers at number 13. Now, the Packers are a very good team. The problem with the Packers is they're old all over the field. Jordy Nelson is aging. Aaron Rodgers is over 30. The majority of their star players are in their 30s, where regression is going to start to hit, and you're going to have to look to replace those. Now, had it not taken so many picks to go up and get them, I wouldn't include them on this list, but Alvin gave up a first and second and then a 2018 first to be able to move up and get them. And so I don't know how he's going to be able to replace these aging stars missing so many picks in the first few drafts. And so for that reason, I put the Green Bay Packers as my number 4 worst value in the team draft. Moving on to number 3. The number 3 worst value in the team draft is the Philadelphia Eagles at number 2. I don't think the Eagles are an awful team in Madden. I actually would like to play with them myself, being a huge Eagles fan. But the problem I have with taking the Eagles at number 2 is I legitimately thought that they would still be there in the late teens. They're not an overwhelming Madden team. I think you could have traded down and still been able to get the Eagles if that's what you wanted and replenish some draft picks. You look at their roster, they do have a rookie quarterback that's going to be a lot of fun to play with and build, but beyond that, there's nothing overwhelming on the offensive side of the ball in their favor. And on the defensive side of the ball, there's a few good pieces with Fletcher Cox and Malcolm Jenkins, but there's still a lot of building to do with this team. You look at their raw athleticism, and there's no one on the Eagles roster that has over 92 plus speed. And that's the only team in Madden that you can say that about. And in a league where speed kills, to take a team with no speed at number 2 is not necessarily the best value. And you pile on top of that they also are missing their first round pick in 2017 and their second round pick in 2018 due to the Carson Wentz trade. My number 2 worst value was the New York Giants. The New York Giants, Scott traded up to get the Giants. He gave up a second round pick to get him at number 11. And the Giants have a good roster. Their defensive line looks really good. They've got some good receivers with Odell Beckham Jr. and Sterling Shepard, the rookie, and rookie corner Eli Apple. But there's still a lot to build about this team, and so to give up a pick to move up to get them may not be the best value. And then our number one worst value is again the New York Giants. Because after Scotty traded up to get the Giants, later he decided he didn't want to be the Giants. He traded them to Tom for nothing and then decided he wanted him back, and Tom was able to get a first and a third round pick just to give him back, which he used to go select the Rams. And so Tom gets the steal of the draft, getting a first and third for nothing, able to replace the Rams picks that they lost. Scott, meanwhile, trades a first and a third round pick for a team that he already picked once. And so that's why the Giants come in as number 2 and number 1 on the worst value board. And so our worst 5 picks, the Texans at 5, the Packers at 4, the Eagles at 3, and the Giants at 2 and 1 for the worst values. So that'll about wrap it up. One more, just I want to say one more time, again, the top 10 plays are coming back. Be sure and send those clips to me. Send them to me as soon as you play, because once an advance happens, I'm going to start working on those videos. If you are twitching the game, you won't be able to record live. You'll have to record it off of the highlights. But if you're not the one twitching, you can double tap the Xbox home button, hit X, and it'll record that clip for you. Then you go to xboxdvr.com, type in your gamer tag, and you can find the clip, and you can send me a link to that, and I can include it in any consideration for top 10. So that'll wrap it up for today, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Looking forward to seeing you guys on the field. Peace.